You ever notice how every time a company says, "We fixed it," the problems just get better at hiding? That's the energy around GM right now. Owners are whispering about engines, the search traffic is screaming, and the dealer service bays are way louder than the marketing. So let's talk about the thing nobody at the top wants to say out loud. GM is in an engine crisis. Not because every single motor is junk, but because there's a pattern. Failures, recalls, shifting explanations, and a future plan that looks less like leadership and more like damage control. If you own a Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, Yukon, Escalade, or you're shopping one, you need to hear this before your wallet gets ambushed. Here's the promise of today's video. By the end, you'll know which engine families are catching heat, what the real-world failure modes look like, how much it can cost when they go sideways, and where GM is likely heading next. The villain is simple: engineering shortcuts and corporate confidence meeting real-world abuse. The prize is even simpler. You keep thousands in your pocket and months of your life out of a service bay. Let's start with the headline everyone feels, even if they can't name it. Modern GM V8s with cylinder deactivation, the ones that promise V8 power with 4-cylinder efficiency, have a lifter problem. When these lifters collapse or stick, they can chew up a cam lobe, trigger a misfire, and turn your quiet highway ride into a tick-tick-tick that sounds like a time bomb under the hood. Owners describe it the same way. An intermittent tick becomes a constant knock. A check engine light follows, then comes the estimate. And here's the first hard number you need to remember. A lifter and cam job on a late-model GM truck can easily run into the $3,000 to $7,000 range once parts, gaskets, and shop time stack up. If it snowballs into metal in the oil and deeper damage, it can go higher. That's not "oops, a sensor" money. That's vacation money, braces money, mortgage money. Now, GM will tell you they've refined the hardware and the software. They'll talk about updated lifter designs, revised oil control, smarter deactivation logic, and I believe some of that. There are engines that run great for a long time, but when you see the same failure tree reappear across model years and nameplates, that isn't noise, that's signal. The truth is simple. Turning cylinders on and off is a neat trick for the EPA cycle, but it creates more moving pieces that can fail under heat, pressure, varnish, and real-world maintenance habits that aren't perfect. Let's widen the lens. Transmissions. If you owned an 8-speed GM truck in the last decade, you've probably heard the word shudder. Fluid updates and TSBS helped a lot of people, but the reputational damage stuck. The next chapter is the 10-speed that GM co-developed. Many owners love it. Quick, crisp, great ratios for towing. Others report harsh shifts, flare, or a clunk on the 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 when it's hot or under load. Is it every unit? Number. Are there software flashes and procedures that help? Yes. But here's your second hard number. A full replacement out of warranty can touch $5,000 to $8,000 fast, and even just a valve body or torque converter swap can land in the low thousands. If you're shopping used, that's the kind of hidden exposure most buyers never budget for. What about the big V8s? The 6.2 tons and SUVs is a sweetheart when it's happy. Smooth, strong, sounds like a truck should. The problem is that when the lifter roulette wheel hits your number, it's not fun. The 6.6 gas and HD trucks? Simpler mission, fewer headlines, and a lot of owners swear by it. But simplicity isn't immunity. Any heavy-duty gas truck run hot and hard with neglected oil can wipe bearings or cook cats. Diesel side? That's a separate saga with its own wins and losses. Great torque when it's healthy, ugly bills when emissions or fuel systems throw a tantrum. The point is not everything GM makes is broken. The point is that enough high-visibility failures keep surfacing that trust is bleeding out faster than the press releases can patch it. So why does it feel like the volume got turned up this year? Part of it is the internet megaphone, but part of it is pressure. Cost pressure, time pressure, regulatory pressure. Look at the headlines around GM outside of the engine bay. Plant slowdowns, layoffs, shifting EV targets, new V8 rumors colliding with "Is GM in trouble?" searches. When a company is juggling a new powertrain roadmap, federal targets, and investor expectations, where do you think the squeeze lands? On supplier pricing, on testing time, on good enough to ship. And the customer becomes the final durability lab. That's the ugly sentence nobody wants to admit. Here's where I give you something actionable. If you own a late model GM-V8 with cylinder deactivation, do this. Keep oil fresh and on spec. These lifters hate sludge and varnish. If your use case is short trips and cold starts, consider tightening the interval. Listen for a cold start tick that doesn't go away warm. Pay attention to misfire codes that return after coil and plug swaps, especially on the same cylinder. If you hear a metallic tick that follows RPM and oil pressure, don't ignore it. Early intervention before a cam lobe wipes can be the difference between a top-end refresh and a full teardown. If you're under warranty and you hear it, insist on documentation. Paper trails get repairs covered. Shopping used? Here's your pre-purchase checklist. First, pull the service history by VIN, not just a Carfax summary. You're looking for injector replacements, lifter cam work, any abnormal engine noise lines, and repeated misfire diagnostics. Second, drive it long enough to get the transmission hot. Light throttle upshifts should be clean, not flare, and downshifts should happen without a bang. Third, scan for codes, active and pending. A fresh detail and a cleared code history are not a coincidence. Fourth, check for oil consumption complaints. Some are normal by manufacturer standards. Your wallet may disagree. Let's talk towing and long-term heat. This is where the brochure gets quiet. Cylinder deactivation and small to mid-sized torque converters love steady-state cruising on flat ground. Long grades with a trailer? That's where marginal cooling systems, borderline fluid, and calibration compromises start to show. If your life is hauling at altitude, build in margin. Use the heavier-duty cooling package when available. Change fluid early. And if you've tuned it, understand you've moved outside the calibration that the lifters, converter, and clutches were validated on. You might love the power. The parts may not. Okay, so what should I buy? You want a simple answer. There isn't one. But here's a decision map that actually helps. If you're half-ton shopping and you want the 6.2, make sure you're either inside powertrain warranty or you have an aftermarket protection plan that covers lifter and cam failures specifically. If you hate the idea of cylinder deactivation, look for builds and years with fewer complaints, or cross-shop the 6.6 Gas HD if your use case justifies the size and fuel cost. If you're going diesel to tow heavy, budget for emissions hardware over the truck's life. That is not a GM-only thing. That's a modern diesel thing. And if you're set on a 10-speed, drive the exact truck you're buying in hot weather, up a hill, with a few wide-open throttle pulls to feel how it behaves under stress. A calm 5-minute lot drive hides sins. Let me address the comment I can already hear. I've got 120,000 miles on my GM and it's perfect. Good. Plenty do. That's part of what makes this crisis so slippery. It's not a universal failure rate. It's a Russian roulette that's loud enough to scare buyers and expensive enough to crush those it hits. And the longer GM moves between powertrain strategies, V8 with tricks, smaller boosted engines, EV promises, the more those cracks in trust matter. Because when you ask people to follow you into the next era, they bring their last repair bill with them. Where is GM going next? You can see the split. On one hand, new V8 development hasn't vanished. Trucks still need torque, and the market still loves that sound. On the other, the EV pivot and hybrid talk are impossible to ignore. My read is that GM wants to keep a smaller, more efficient family of combustion engines alive for trucks and SUVs while using electrification to meet targets. That can work if the engines that bridge the gap are bulletproof. If the stopgap powertrains turn into headlines and class-action fodder, the brand pays twice, once at the dealer, and again when owners say never again at trade-in time. So here's the straight talk if you're already in one. Keep your maintenance tight. Document every noise. If you're out of warranty and you start hearing a tick, get a real diagnosis before it eats metal. If you're shopping, treat the VIN like a resume with references. Make it prove itself. And if your dealer hand-waves something you can reproduce, escalate. Politely, persistently, in writing. What about resale? This is the silent killer. Trucks with known engine work in the history can take a multi-thousand-dollar haircut even after they're fixed. The market decides what it trusts. If you're on the sell side, full transparency plus receipts and a transferable warranty are your best protection. If you're buying, the phrase fresh engine work is either a blessing or a curse depending on who did it and why. Let's land this plane. Is GM doomed? Number. But are they in a credibility war of their own making? Absolutely. You can't sell indestructible truck commercials and then ask customers to accept that's normal when their brand new V8 starts playing maracas. You can't pitch 10 gears of perfection and then blame driving style when software flashes keep rolling out. The fix is not a press release. The fix is parts that don't fail, calibrations that don't stumble, and service departments empowered to make owners whole without a fight. If you're an owner, drop your engine, mileage, and what went wrong, or what went right, in the comments. Real data from real people beats any brochure. If you're a tech who wrenches on these every day, tell us what you're actually seeing. I'll pin the most useful breakdown, even if it makes the brand look bad, because the point here isn't to cheer for or against a logo. The point is protecting the person who has to sign the repair bill at the end. Here's my verdict. If you want a GM truck because the chassis feels right, the interiors have come a long way, and the ride is exactly what you like, I get it. Just buy smart. Prioritize warranty coverage on deactivation-equipped V8s. Test the 10-speed hot. Budget like a grown-up, not a brochure. And if the salesman says they fixed that, smile and say, "Cool, show me the bulletin and the part number." Because the difference between an engine crisis and a loyal customer base is proof. And right now, GM needs to deliver a lot more of it. If you're a GM owner who jumped ship to Ram or Ford because of an engine or transmission failure, I want that story too. The more truth we stack, the fewer people get blindsided.